And he started recording. This is DOM and JS. I'm sorry, document object model. I misspoke later. This is looking at the HTML format as a document. By the way, those of you like niche programming, you can do the same with Word document. There's actually a specification published for it, so you can make Word documents. Why shouldn't you want to do that? Make a little side money. Okay, DOM had a few twists and turns to it. You know, you have a logical way of doing things. Unfortunately, when you start involving people, that always doesn't work. And one of that influenced this was the Netscape wars. And what happened is, they said DOM level 1 was bad. That shouldn't be a big surprise, right? Never buy version 1.0 of anything. Okay, DOM 3 was put out by W3C in 2004. The working group disbanded. That's another problem that we're having now that computers have been around a while. This is the notion of abandonware. That you have these programs you use for years and years. Now we're getting to the point where the people that are making them or the people that are maintaining them are retiring. They don't want to play with them anymore, so what do you do with them? You think they would pass them on, but not all the time. Okay, you got a tree node model, and you got the parent-child structure based on the open and closing tags, how they nest. Okay, here's a really basic example. You have the document, you have the root element, which is HTML, and if you look all the way down to the bottom of the page, you should see splash HTML at the end. Now, the old ones didn't used to have that because there were some tags that didn't bother closing it. They said that was inconsistent. We're not doing that anymore. Kind of like the change in Python. They said that print is a function, therefore it has brackets. I mean, it has to have parentheses. See the pattern here? But what happens is when you're programming, if you have some inconsistencies with that, it's kind of hard to remember and it aggravates people. Okay, you notice you have your head element here, your body element here. They have this element called title. And you could have a text for that called my title. If you're looking at a regular computer with a regular browser, where will that title show up? Two possible answers.
Somebody answered me.
What's that?
Somebody answered me.
Thanks. Top. The bar, hence the word for the tab. That's where that shows up. The reason I say that was I was trying to play with the code pen when I got here, and I started changing size on the title. Well, since we're working inside of a kind of a programmer tool, it wasn't showing up because it just doesn't show this tab on it or the title. Okay, you got headers, you got text. A is an anchor. You can actually Okay, what happens here is not only can you go through and read this programmatically, you can just go through, you can make up an HTML page on the fly if you like. Or you can add to it, or you can take away from it. Okay, when I talk about an API, that's an application program and interface. Has anybody worked with APIs before? This is something to look for as a programmer when your company or your CEO or somebody gets excited about a new computer application, they start bringing it in and all that. You can say, is there an API for this? They'll look at you funny. You're saying, can I get into some of this in code and do some of the things that this application that you're buying does do? Because there's going to be something it doesn't do. If it has an API, if it has an interface, you can program to the interface, you can have it. Usually it's usually the number of reports, because the number of reports is equal to the number of reports now plus 1. They always need another report for something. Okay, this is Doc Sessions' comment. He likes the Java API layout better. I actually did too. I actually like Java as a programmer. I hated it as a system person because it seems like you're always updating that Java version. Of course, now you're doing that with everybody. Also, back then, all patches were by hand. Most places now, with either a medium-sized network, you need an automatic patching system. There's actually, I had to look at this example. The hyperlink is actually there. It's useful looking at it in the original brief, so to speak. Can anybody visualize what this looks like? What would this look like when rendered? Yes, it would be a table with cells in it. I believe it'd be a 2x2 table. Matter of curiosity, anybody know what Aeolian and Dorian are? Those are music terms. That's the scale that they're made on. Aeolian scale is the standard do, re, mi, fa, sol is the regular scale you can learn. Dorian scale, if I remember correctly, starts on the second note. Okay, here's what the HTML looks like. Here's a DOM representation. Okay, what does TR stand for, would you suppose? Table row. What does TD stand for? About table data? I think wait for somebody to say touchdown. I don't know how everybody did this one. It's hard enough to keep up with it. But okay. Okay, and that bottom row is the actual data that's in there. This is a DOM representation of an HTML page. A very simple one, of course. Okay, another example. Not too much to it. You got about Elks, you got the truth about Elks. Quite frankly, these days, if I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see something about the truth, about something, and I see that it's got more than about 3 or more exclamation points, I just keep scrolling. And here's another representation of that. Okay, you've got the head, you got text, and then you got this funny looking arrow like this. What does that mean? For those of you that on the line, a funny looking arrow, it goes down and then to the left. What does that mean? Give you a hint. Look on your keyboard. Yeah, that's your hard return. So what that tells me is that after it renders that, it's supposed to do a hard return and drop. I think that first one is 4 spaces. For the then you have the title, then you have the body. The body is just supposed to be just the way it is. On the representation of this HTML document, it's in the pin. Obviously, you've got to say sign up for CodePen before you can do that. Okay, once you understand what the DOM is, you use it to make stuff. Okay, one thing that's called document get element by ID that returns to you what that H1 would be hidden 1, D would paragraph, etc., and so on. Okay, document create element is the function called a make an element. You make the element is an object, and then you attach the object to the other object where you want it. I think about object-oriented programming. You can do that. So try to do it all at once. The other thing you can do is you count the elements. You can get all the images. You can get all the links from the page. Cybersecurity guys. Why would you want to get links from a page? I'm thinking about a particular link. How about emails? Not why you'd want it for cybersecurity, but why would bad guys want to get the emails from a page?
Oh, they can send malware.
Yeah, so they can send them spam and malware and bad stuff. And instead of trying to find out a bunch of addresses or doing some random addresses and whatever works, they just sit there and they do what they call a web page, where they just sit there and they go through and find all this is how they do it. It's how they find out all the emails that are hidden in there, and then they send bad stuff off to them. Another thing, if you can get all the links from a page, it's also possible through a lot of scripting languages to try out those links and see if they work, so you don't have dead links. That's pretty common on the company intranet, is they don't keep the links up and they don't work. Then one of the bosses tries them and he sits there and he blames IT for it, saying you're not keeping this up. Okay, homework says change how the button works. This probably does not make any sense to you whatsoever, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, this is what they're talking about manipulating. We're talking about doing a couple of changes to this. And what happens with HTML? Okay, notice I added a couple of spaces that didn't seem to matter. It did re-enter it. Okay, I changed simple to complex and back again. That's a big deal. Okay, old man, it's late. I'm having trouble reading everything. And there you go. Can y'all see that? Okay. Put it back the way it was. Okay, you got your JavaScript, you got your little button here. You got the function that says opacity is 0. Wonder what that means. Means now you see it, now you don't, right? I can go back there and I can check it. And it puts it back. You're saying, well, can we make it where it toggles it, where it goes back and forth? You most certainly can. I believe that's part of your project. Okay, and what happens here is we kind of go into the lab help. This is CodePen. You need to get a account to it, and what happens is you need to look up this code simple example. Then you need to fork it to your repository. This is same song, second verse as you did in GitHub. The fork button, by the way, is down there at the very bottom on the right-hand side. I sat there and looked all for it, and I gave it up and Googled it, and it's like, oh, there it is. Okay, so at this point in time, we are done with the formal part of this presentation. And starting to laugh.